Let me thank John, you first. This is the second time you've offered your hospitality, and I appreciate it so much. And all of my friends, Ray and Suni, and everyone else that is here, just let me tell you how much I appreciate you helping me once more. I want to talk just a few minutes about where I think Georgia needs to go. First, as we all know, Georgia is like all states, most states, they're suffering from unemployment and the lack of the creation of jobs. What I believe is the key to our future is really fairly simple. We have to improve our education. We have to make sure that we raise the educational levels of this state. I was reading an article, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I was reading an article in Newsweek where 30 years ago, Korea had the same per capita income as Afghanistan. And today, their per capita income was one of the highest in the world because 30 years ago, they made a dedicated effort and investment into education. And in a period of one generation, they had made tremendous leaps. The same thing has happened in China. The same thing is happening in India. In fact, India is their new goal is that 40% of their graduates from secondary school would be college graduates within 20 years. What is happening in China? I mean, the number of institutions, engineering institutions and others, just being formed is phenomenal. And we can, in order for us to be a member of this international community that we're all interdependent on for trade and for exchange and all of this, we have to do better here in the United States. Unless we do better, then we're not going to be able to afford goods that are manufactured anywhere. We have to raise. To give a good example of the importance of education, I read this the other day. Of the 10% unemployment, 6.5% of that in America is from those that have a high school diploma or less. Only 3.5% are from those that have post-secondary education either through technical colleges or through the institutes of higher learning in the university systems. So education equaled prosperity, which is brought about by job creation. And trade, international trade, is the most important thing to jumpstart us in that regard. Just think of the potential we have here in this state. We have the largest and we have the busiest airport in the world. We have one of the top ports in the United States. We have the headquarters of the largest, of the company that moves more documents and goods, UPS, than any other company in the world. But we do not concentrate in seeking out international partners for trade. We do not concentrate on trying to bring and to educate those from all over, the best and the brightest from all over the world here. You know, if you get them here to college, they'll stay here. We know, one of the things we know is that you have generally over a 60% chance of staying in the area that you go to school, that you are educated. And we need those bright minds. I guess the way I could explain it best is the building of infrastructure. Now there's several types of infrastructure. These streets and roads and bridges are one type. The trains that we have, the mass transit that needs to be expanded, are another type. But equally, well, I will say even more important, is that intellectual infrastructure that that brings about innovation, entrepreneurs, and the creation of jobs. Our effort is dismal in this state in trying to create that type of international cooperation and trade. And where is it going to come from? It's going to come from the Pacific Rim. The Asian countries are the ones that are going to provide us that cooperation, that integration, that trade. And you know, I'm a capitalist through and through. I believe there's enough money for everybody. And I want everybody to make a little money in the process. And that's another thing that we tried to do when I was governor, and I pledge to you that we'll do again. We wanted to make sure that those who served in state government and those who contracted with state government looked like the people of the state rather than just a few. And Irving Mitchell, who I've known for a long time, I drafted him back and I said, Irving, you're going to be directly in the governor's office. We've given lip service to this over the years, but I truly believe it. We're going to create a mentor-protege program. He's the one that told me the name. We're going to create a program that starts a process that should grow over a period of time so that we have proteges that graduate and become mentors themselves and build upon a process that expands our contracting, our employment, and the health and welfare of the state. We need that same type of program to build on in international trade. We need a mentor-protege program. All of you are experienced in international trade. You may be a protege on one side, but you can be a mentor on the other side of bringing someone else along to expand further. There is so much potential here, but we simply cannot sit idly by and close our eyes to a changing world and try to run into the last century rather than the next. It's time for us to forget, remember fondly, but forget times of past, and to retool and redesign this state to be internationally competitive, because it will bring prosperity and the creation of jobs for us all. That's the reason, as Lonnie pointed out, we created the first Asian American Commission to create a focus that we could have, that I could call upon those that had the experience, the expertise to help us to fashion these programs. And I will tell you this, I'm going to call on you again, because it was the right thing that we did then, it works, and it's the right thing that we do now. This state will prosper, and it will grow. And I want to be a part of that. I want to make sure that we all have the opportunity to be a part of that. And I look forward to serving as your governor over the next few years, next 4 years. And I look forward to having a relationship, no, a partnership, that we can all work together to bring prosperity and profit to all of us. Thank you so much.